hopping a hand for
Be careful.
He's and Scott Higgins, both of them coked up out of their minds.
Listen to you. He's down in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I think we should call this the Acement.
The Acement, yes.
Yeah, what do you think there, huh?
I like that. The Acement Studios.
Excuse me, I'm drinking beer. Hold on a second.
We usually drink bourbon on our end.
Yeah,
when we
right.
do the podcast, so
That's all right.
feel free to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You shoot an 8-ball if you want. We don't care, as long as it's good stories.
And welcome to the Acement, everybody. It's time to go behind the funny. This is Scott Higgins.
And this is Acecito.
Back in the Acement again.
Back in the Acement, and the sound is working.
When you
For
can
the first time in 2 fucking weeks.
you can actually hear us.
Yes.
We don't sound like we're talking through giant cardboard tubes, and we're live in the Acement. How much better can it get?
It's great. I'm just making sure everything's working.
Yes,
That's why
I know.
I'm a little
I know.
distracted.
For those of you that have been joining us the last couple of weeks, we apologize for the audio issues. When my buddy Ace is not here to produce, obviously I had a few issues I stumbled over, but we are figuring things out.
The funniest was I'm watching it from Florida, and I'm watching you, and I'm going, what's wrong? How come I can't hear anything? And then I watch it. I watched it afterwards, and I'm going, I'm skipping. And then I look at you, look down at the computer, and the next thing you say is, oh, wow. Well, I hope that wasn't muted the whole time.
And it was. So
you live and learn.
Yeah, exactly. And the week before, we had Steve Bjork back on because the first time we had him on, we had equipment issues.
Yes.
And couldn't hear him very well. And we decided to make it so you couldn't hear him very well again.
Yeah. We like to do that.
It was
Either
better
that-
than the first time.
Either that or Steve has some sort of electromagnetic field that shorts our sound out.
Yeah, there's definitely some kind of curse around him or something. But we loved having him on. Hope you guys enjoyed that too. Thank you for joining us live, as you guys do every single week. If you are listening and haven't joined us live, please do so Wednesday nights, 8:30 on twitch.tv. Drinks, jokes, and storytelling. That's the letter N. Storytelling. And of course, you can follow us on Facebook at Behind the Funny Podcast to see when we are streaming live. If you are listening, I hope that you have subscribed, and I hope you have given us that 5-star written review. We did get a new one from someone who complimented us on the Carolyn Fox episode. They really enjoyed that one. She was fun to talk to. We definitely got to get her back on.
Yes.
Because she didn't have a lot of
reel her in was very difficult.
That was fun trying to keep on that bull for 8 seconds because she was shot out of a cannon. But,
yeah, I think Carolyn misses radio a little bit.
You could tell. But thank you for that review. We are not on pace for Scott to wear a bikini.
I know. Come on, people, pick it up. We got 24 more to go by the end of the month.
Yep, 24 more 5-star written reviews, and I have to wear a bikini live on a Wednesday night for our fans.
Amazing.
So
like a little banana hammock kind?
No, a women's bikini that says Behind the Funny on it.
The funniest was he goes,
and I will do it.
He said, I never
believe you.
said I was going to wear a thong because I kept saying a thong. I go, dude, with all due respect, any women's bathing suit you wear is going to be a thong. Exactly.
Hungry bum.
Yeah,
It's kind of cold.
I know.
That's
And speaking of cold, we're enjoying a nice ice cold Angel's Envy. That's our bourbon date this week.
You guys know we've talked about her before. We absolutely love her.
Yes.
And we brought her back this week to celebrate my co-host's return.
Clinkies and
our wonderful guest. Double clink.
Our wonderful guest, who you'll notice is not Jimmy Cash. Much better looking than Jimmy.
Huge
Although
upgrade.
Jimmy, I think, has the same length hair.
He might even have longer hair.
Yeah, he might have longer hair.
But
Jimmy had an unforeseen event, and so this is someone that we've wanted on the show for a long time, and I didn't realize that she had even been back in the area. I thought you were traveling up. That's how dumb I am. I thought you were traveling up for all these
I didn't
shows.
really announce it or anything.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
Why not?
So
Well, because it wasn't a thing. It was like
It just happened.
it was like, yeah, I didn't even know where to book myself because I didn't know where I was gonna stay. It was like everything was up in the air. It was
Yeah,
just
sure.
here, kind of, and I'm like, so because put it this way, my stuff, all my shit is in storage in the Bronx.
Is it
so
really
yeah.
still?
So it was like when I first came here, I was like, I don't know where,
Right.
So
We should introduce who you are.
I was just gonna
You
say,
can, you
give a
can do that.
name.
Hello.
This is one of our favorite, comics who we love working with, and honestly, I haven't worked with you in forever.
I know.
And now I'm glad that you're back because I want to work
I
with
know.
you again.
I remember
So-
doing a giant vacuous weird half casino in
Newport.
Newport.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that
yeah. I had
one.
you on the Royal Flush show.
That was good.
That was a while. Yeah.
That was good.
That was a
Remember
fun
how
gig.
big the room was? It was
Yeah,
like
it was
giant high
huge.
ceilings. I was like, uh-oh.
The
But it
event
ended up,
center, but they were great
Yeah, they were
crowds,
great.
right?
That was
Great.
that was a fun gig.
Yeah. So we want to welcome to the Behind the Funny podcast, Miss Stacy Kendro.
Hello.
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 Yes, our studio audience. Yeah. So what have you been up to?
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
why don't we could start at the beginning because
Yeah.
how long have you been doing comedy?
You know when like you stop counting. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's over. It's 20.
It's 20.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
somewhere
can't believe
around
it.
it. I know it goes
I
by
can't
like that.
believe it because I went to New York 8 years ago. I'm like, so did I? Right? Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I say wow too because I'm like, I went there. I did make a lot of headway, a lot of road gigs.
Yeah.
I did a lot of stuff in the city, but I didn't have the time and energy to do like I'm gonna get passed at these clubs so they won't pay me anything.
Right. Yeah.
Give you like 25 or 50 a set. that
Right.
You might get here. And I just didn't.
Yeah.
So I set my sights to do like Atlantic City. I got right away.
Yeah.
Which back then they gave you sick money and a
And
condo,
a hotel room or a condo
on
the whole
on the
time.
boardwalk. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did well. I had all this energy and time when I first got there to like find out who booked what.
Right.
Upstate New York, Long Island,
Yeah.
South Jersey. Never really did Philly, but I did some Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
and I kept myself busy. And then coming back here once in a while and doing Worcester,
Worcester.
that was like, hey, how
Yeah.
you doing? Let's do
Worcester.
Worcester.
Yeah. Right.
And that was like my favorite. This is weird, but that was like my favorite gig
Yeah.
to do when I came
They
back
had
here.
great crowds.
The upstairs.
Worcester was
Yeah,
great.
when Dick Doherty was booking
Yeah.
the upstairs, it's now the attic.
Good
Yeah.
old Dick.
Yeah, but they're working class people there. They like to laugh.
They love comedy.
They appreciate
it's a tiny
comedy.
room. It's
Yes.
a tiny attic.
It was so
perfect.
fun.
It was
It was
perfect.
so fun. I used to love doing that room. I haven't done it in a while, unfortunately. But yeah, everybody that worked there said
Is
the
that
same
like
thing.
is that like a Tobin room?
Yes.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's one of his rooms.
I should hit him up. I mean,
It's
who
still
they
going
booking
strong.
in there? I have no idea. I
The-
don't.
I don't know.
I stopped really following who books who where. It's just it that becomes a full-time job to
I
just
know.
follow
Yeah.
who's being booked where and everything. So you just kind of give up after a while and just worry about yourself.
Especially after a while when you're like, yeah, I know. I worked that room 4 bookers ago. If you don't want to
Right.
book me there, that's fine. I really don't give a shit. I'll get work somewhere else if you don't want to book me. And I
Yeah.
don't mean that against
No,
anyone
when
in
they change
particular.
hands, this place in
They
Florida
change
I
hands,
used to
yeah.
do, and
All of a
it's,
sudden you
Fort
have to
Myers.
reprove yourself, right?
Oh yeah, and the
Yeah.
guy was there, and he's like, "Yeah, I didn't really watch you, but it sounds like they liked you."
Yeah.
And then he did, and then I gave his girlfriend a shirt, and then they didn't book me after that. I was
Really?
like, "Yeah, I just did like really well in your room," and then
Yeah.
there's no rhyme or reason.
No.
for that.
No, there isn't.
But the one time I went to Florida, my sister is in Fort Myers, and when she first moved down there, I was trying to get in at a club down there. Sent my stuff, sent my tape. That's how long ago.
Yeah.
Sent my tape.
You're
and my
aging
headshot.
yourself.
I know.
I say tape, even though it's not a tape anymore.
Yeah. Well, so I sent it, didn't hear back, kept calling, never heard back from the guy, right? So then I get down there and I find out that there's another club out on Sanibel Island. So, and the guy there, I call him, I said, hey, I'm in town, I'm visiting my sister, I'm a comic from up north, would love to come and just do a set. He goes, yeah, you could come and do a set. I've already got the shows booked. He goes, but, I'd love to have you on. I go up, do pretty good, Second guy goes up, the feature, doing Gilligan's Island jokes and like the hackiest bullshit.
Yeah.
Introduces himself to me, says, oh, you were really good. And I said, yeah, if you watch the tape that I sent you to get into your club, you would know that he was the feature at the Sanibel Island Comedy Club.
When was this?
Oh, this was 20 something
Oh,
years
okay, all
ago.
right. Okay.
I
didn't know Sanibel had a club. Okay.
Yeah, at the time, yeah, it was
Yeah.
a long time ago. And I was like, yeah. I said,
Yeah.
I was trying to get in at your club while I was down here, but you know,
I've been trying to get booked down in like Raleigh, North Carolina area because I have
Charlie
friends
Goodnights.
that live down there, you know, so I can get people to come see me.
Yep.
And Charlie Goodnights, they flat out say that unless one of our headliners recommends you, don't send us anything, don't reach out, we're not even going to look at it.
Well, you know, that's fair enough. And then how about when you have the headliners that recommend you and you still don't
Right,
get
still
tests? You're
don't.
like,
Right.
What do I got to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
when I
there's too many comics.
That's the problem. There's not enough clubs and way too many comics.
The previous company that I worked for was based out of North Carolina, out of Raleigh. And I went down when I got my first job. So I had already been doing comedy. This was in 97. I had already been doing it, you know, 8 years, 9 years. And I'm like, listen, I'm down here for 3 weeks of training with 300 people.
Wow.
I will fill your club. Give me a chance.
Nothing.
Nope.
You know, it just sucks.
By the way, I feel like
So
I'm on
weird.
like you guys are like Click and Clack the Tappet Brothers. Hey, it's Car Talk.
Yeah.
You know, you guys like finishing each other's sentences and like getting interviewed by two guys.
We've been doing this for way too long
Oh,
that we
no.
can finish each other's sentences.
It's a little scary.
Yeah,
I know.
it is at this point. Now, 20 years in, do you remember the first time you ever did stand up?
I do.
Everybody does. Where was it at?
Well, I had a few like false starts, or like, you know, when I first was on stage, I was with another person that I happened to marry eventually. Yeah, I was a whole Well, I went up, so we went up as a team, and then I kind of got the bug, but I didn't go up myself till a year after that.
Okay.
And I was in LA, so that's the weirdest place.
Your first time solo was in LA.
In LA at a sushi joint. You know, I just was like, I knew it was probably gonna bomb. Like I knew, like you just, because I worked at the club for so long, you sort of know. You know, I had
you can read the audience.
I had stuff written, but I knew that like it's so unfamiliar. You know, like it's one thing to watch comedy, another thing.
Yeah.
So I took my friend who was an artist, and she just was like the perfect person to take, like very non-judgmental, just like thought I was hilarious and this is so amazing and you're so great. You know, I kind of did these weird characters. I don't even know if I did good or not, but you know, I got off stage and I felt so like accomplished and so, like that was amazing. Like, because we're all, you know,
We're
not
all
just
crazy.
That's why we do it.
That's why
I know.
That's why
So
we keep doing it.
I think I thought I did well. I don't know, but that was
It was enough to get you back up the next time.
Oh yeah. And then like I did, like there was a lot of weird stuff in LA. Like you could do a laundromat, you know what I'm saying?
I've heard of
the
gigs
washers
like,
like in the spin cycle, like and you're like, you know.
Well, Steve Martin
Doing
talked
little
about
jokes.
that in his book.
Yes, I read that.
Yeah,
Great
coffee shops, laundromats, all
Still
these
going
different
on.
weird places.
Well, because back then there wasn't comedy clubs when he started.
Right.
But the tradition of doing it in
But I was just gonna say,
place,
but like you just said, that stuff still happens.
it still happens. The sushi joint was weird enough. You know, it wasn't like, hey, it's a comedy. It was just some weird bar.
Who was it that told us that? Was it Mo Mandel?
Mo Mandel
That said
that
he
did
did
it
it at a laundromat, and we're like, oh, they did comedy there. He goes, no, I
No.
just invited a bunch of friends and just did stand up
love
at a
stand-up.
laundromat.
Really?
Yeah, just to try it for
Ambush
one time.
comedy. That's what they call that.
Yeah. It was a pop-up comedy show.
I think ambush is more accurate. But
Yeah.
people
Oh, yeah.
like, you know,
For the other people that
people
weren't expecting
folding their
that.
underwear, like, what is this? I don't care
Who
about.
is this jackass talking in the corner?
Yeah. It's bad
So-
enough doing a bachelor party when they go, who the fuck, who's talking on stage?
Oh.
Right.
Oh.
We're trying to eat.
Now, so how long were you in LA for doing stand-up?
That was like,
Or was that just you happen to be out there?
No,
trying
we
to-
lived there for 2 years.
Okay.
When I was married, and then I came. But so I was doing stand up for like the second year I was there, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
roughly 2.5 years we lived there. But I think I only did, and then we came back. So I had a year of open mics under my belt, and then I came back here, and Joey, whatever his name is, the connection gave me
Joey Sanagate.
Sanagate. I was like, what's his
Joey
name?
Sanagate.
He
Joey
gave me
Sniffs.
hosting work down here in Providence for $75, and I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And which is
It's a start.
it's probably nothing now. It's probably went down to 25, and
It
now it's probably they
probably
don't
is.
pay at all. Why? We're
I
the
don't
only
know.
business where it
Yeah.
goes
Where
down.
it goes down.
Incredible.
I think Rick Beretta said it when we had him on the show. He goes, comedy is the only one where it's the only job where the pay hasn't gone up. If anything, it's gone down in 25 years.
Yeah, in 25
know?
to 30 years.
And
It's-
here we are. We
Yeah. Yeah.
Still doing it.
still doing
You
it.
know?
It's just crazy. And that was my way of working in, was Joey giving me my first paid weekend in East Providence.
Yeah.
But that was back
he
when
was good to the comics, I feel like.
but
For
we
the
also
most part.
you also got to work Wednesday through Sunday when you worked there hosting.
Right.
Remember?
Yes.
You were there like the week.
Yep.
So you got a lot of stage time, which is
that's-
great.
Yeah.
which was really, really great. So were you getting a lot of work around here?
Yeah, well, back then, and I'm just thinking, as opposed to like the Connection in Boston, which on a Wednesday there'd be nobody there.
Yeah,
and you'd go on, and like even like the big heavy guns from Boston, who they would have hosts, would have a hard time because it'd be like 5 people.
Yeah,
and it would be tourists, not even a Boston crowd. So I was happy to come to Providence.
Yeah,
even though everybody's crazy down here.
Yeah,
At least in East Providence.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
shit, these people are nuts.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just the comedy club
no,
demographic. I don't know.
No, I think that's why a lot of Boston comics for a while were kind of, there used to be like this rivalry between Boston and Providence. And I think a lot of Boston comics looked down on Rhode Island comics for a while because, they're all dick jokes. Well, guess what? Come on down to Providence
and see what they want.
Try your clever shit with the East Providence crowd.
Yeah,
it's not going to work.
That's true.
You kind of had to survive. You had to go a little bit blue or at least a little bit risque. They weren't getting your Harvard Square, Emerson, well crafted.
Your subtle
your
puns and your witty little comments. No one cares.
They're not getting that.
Well, that's
that doesn't mean that's not that. And I'm not trying to say that that's not a talent or anything like that. It's
just different demographics.
Didn't work there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And it was funny because I started in 2002, so February was 20 years for me. And you'd have people that did like the Comedy Studio. And they would come down and do East Providence, and they're like, I don't want to come back here.
Yeah, I don't want to go there.
They're trying to do their witty thinking man's comedy. Yeah. And some of it was great stuff. And I would, I made a lot of good friends for people that came out of there, and they would do the Boston Connection, do fine. And then they come down to East Providence and like, no, this is like blue collar, working class, beer drinking people. And they want you to get a little rough. And if you're not willing to go there.
And I don't even mean to say like it had to be dick jokes or very dirty.
No, but
it had to be risque. They wanted to hear about real life. They don't want to,
And they wanted you almost, I hate to use the word aggressive, but you had to have energy.
Yeah.
You couldn't be flat. You couldn't be, just sitting there talking. You had to have some energy.
Hammered by it. But Boston actually is like that too.
Well,
but not the studio, but like Nick's.
Right, but like
Nick's was.
So, and that's why the comics that came from Nick's did well in Providence. You know what I mean? Because they were aggressive. Lenny and Sweeney and Gavin and DJ Hazard, all those people were
they could work anywhere.
They could work anywhere.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. No, because the first time I ever worked with Paul D'Angelo was at the Connection East Providence,
too.
And he was a guy that could,
funny.
Phenomenal. One of my all time faves. He could walk in a room like that and kick up the aggression level and just destroy the room.
He writes like 20 new minutes. Like, I just wrote. You go, oh my god! If you see him all the time, and you go, oh, that's 20 new. Yeah,
it's crazy.
And then he can walk in another room where it's a thinking man's type of show and do a whole new set and still blow the doors off the place.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys that can just stand in front of pretty much anybody.
Remember how like the Connection smelled like fried food? Like I don't think they had the right ventilation or something. The plate, you're closed. You'd be like, oh, I smell like chicken. This is gross.
The one in East Providence?
Yeah.
All I remember was the cigarette smoke. Because when in 2002 you could still smoke.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You would have to come home from a Friday night,
wash your clothes,
and shower.
You would literally strip in the hallway and go take a shower.
Would?
Before I would. Well, I would.
I did that one night, but I was in the wrong house.
Yeah.
And, well, I remember
been invited back
the first time I did a show for Annette Pollock. At Jimbo's in the Five Corners of Braintree.
Jimbo's.
And
listen,
if you were
going to go up and do a quick 50,
sweetheart,
I'm going to do a quick 50 minutes
sweetheart,
everyone.
How many people did you bring?
Yes.
How many people did you have?
5.
Yeah. Do a tight 5. I'm going to do 55.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a quick spot for 55 minutes, and then bring you up.
This is nice bourbon, by the way.
Like that?
It is pretty good. I don't drink bourbon. I mean, I'm sort of like a wine drinker, but
Angel's Envy is nice and smooth.
It's
got a nice flavor to it.
You know what I really don't like is I know it's whiskey and it's different, but like Jameson, everybody loves Jameson, but it's actually not that good.
I'm not a big fan.
There's an Irish whiskey that I really like. It's called Redbreast, and I drink their 12-year.
Redbreast is good.
It's because Redbreast is in it.
That's why.
Well, it's got a robin on it. So don't get your brain out of your zipper.
I'm with you.
a new one.
yeah.
No, and we've had it at the cigar club
Yeah.
a few times, and it has a bourbon type of taste to it because it's a single pot still whiskey, Irish whiskey, and it just has a totally different flavor than the Jamesons do.
Welcome to the Bourbon Podcast.
I would
know.
love to do a bourbon podcast.
We keep saying actually we want to go do the bourbon trail in Kentucky, and just go
record.
record at a
Yes,
different
you
distillery
should.
with a comic from that area each like
That's a
each
great
episode.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fun
someday.
That's our ultimate goal.
That's
Is to do the bourbon.
Do you
trail.
know any Kentucky comedians?
It doesn't
No.
matter. We'll just
Doesn't matter.
we'll
I'll
put-
take some open micer from a sushi bar. I'll play.
Oh my God! Bring it around. Bring it right around.
AC. You can do callbacks.
I can do just not on my act.
Just not in your acts, but you can do callbacks.
I know. I wrote one recently, and I'm like, why did it take 20 years to write? What's the matter with
Callback,
me?
right?
This guy cannot come up with a callback for his act, and he's got so many great jokes that he could do callbacks on, but he never comes up with one. But we're doing the podcast, and he'll come out with them left and
all
right,
the
like
time.
it's crazy.
Well, you know, they're overrated.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
I'd like a few, but
It would be nice. So so here you are. You're doing the local shows and stuff like that, and working throughout New England. When did you start doing like road work and getting outside and doing some bigger stuff?
On and off.
How many years in?
I honestly don't remember, but maybe like 5 years in.
Come on, you're not Ken Rogerson. You didn't snort your history away.
I did. Oh,
he
yeah?
goes, yeah. We asked him questions. He goes, yeah. Dates are fuzzy.
Yeah.
He goes, dates and numbers are not
Dates
good
are
for
not-
me.
yeah.
I gotta think back to when my first like road thing was, and I'm not thinking of what the first one was, but I do remember doing 2 weeks in Chicago. You do like the Zanies in town, and then you do one that's like outside.
Uh-huh.
I think it's like
Like a
Pheasant,
satellite?
Pheasant something, which is like some suburb. Yeah. And Rocky Laporte, very funny guy.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Was on the
Great
Pheasant.
comic.
Yeah.
Great.
So that was really exciting. I think I bombed a little bit in the city one because it was like that was the one. So this could tell us, we could look it up, because the Cubs were in the playoffs like for the first time in 30 billion years. So nobody came to the comedy show.
Oh yeah, right.
You know, so
Yeah,
I remember having a hard
They were
time.
breaking their own 100-year curse. That time, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you remember the first time you really like just bombed on stage? Because it sounds like your first time in LA went okay, or most of us kind of don't remember how well we did the first time because you were just trying to get through it.
Yeah.
But it sounds like in the beginning it was going okay for you. But do you remember that first time that was just
real
a
hard
bomb?
Real hard bomb was like this place called Moondoggies. See, this is how you know the specifics.
You're already
Moondoggies in San Diego, right? It was like this huge place with like a giant bar, not set up for comedy at all, just like packed and loud, and they just talked through my whole set, and I was like mortified. You know, and it happens at a bar show sometimes, especially if you're newer, you don't know how to get the crowd. And even a seasoned person might not get them that night because it's just
in Rhode Island, we call that a parada gig.
Yeah, right. A paradathon.
We love you, John.
I love that guy.
Doors open at 4:15. I need you to go on 1:45 and do 45 minutes, brother. I told him it was a full show.
And they got a great chicken
They
palm
got a
there,
great
brother.
chicken palm.
Great chicken palm.
I love that guy. So
Who doesn't?
Listen,
he has this
everyone.
place, Napolitano Pizza.
Yep.
It's like it's sort of dumpy but awesome. I shouldn't if you're listening. It's not dumpy. It's
He does it
I
on.
mean, let me backtrack.
I was just texting the owner.
That's
the food is good.
That's the Thursday night show that he does.
The food is good, and there's like a gay like a lesbo bartender who like makes me drinks. So and you know, Johnny's like, hey, come down, I'll buy you dinner. I'm like, I can't say no to that.
Yeah, right.
I can't say no. The lesbians give me drinks,
And Johnny's gonna feed you.
yeah.
It's the best of both
And
worlds.
then he's writing bits about it. Oh,
Yeah. Hey,
there's a guy on top of me. And
Oh yeah.
Hey, how'd you
Food tattoos.
How'd you like a 400-pound comic rolling off you with wiener wrappers under his boobs?
oh my god.
I've always wanted to snort coke off a bald guy's
Bald
Yeah,
guy's
that's
head.
the one. Yeah, that's the one.
Hey, brother, how's that? Where'd you get that shirt? The last time I saw that, it was at an Italian picnic table.
Uncle Tony's Pizza.
I love watching
I love
it
it.
too.
Yeah.
I just-
And you know what
it's
the
always
funny thing
different.
is? You can watch him 2 nights in a row. He's going to do the same material, but different people.
The crowd
And-
reacts
No, but
differently.
sometimes he comes up with new stuff. One show, he was like, "Who are you two guys?" He's like, "What are you guys, CIA? Like,
Yeah.
follow me? Are you at my last show?" And it was like two guys that had like a similar jacket. It was hilarious.
I
And
love.
I had to remind him. I go, "Remember that CIA thing?" He goes, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." I go, "You got to make that part of the thing now."
I
Yeah.
love when he can't think of what he's trying to say. I had him at this VFW show. They wanted to do it for these veterans. So I had him come out and he goes, "Look at you two sitting over there like, who are those two guys from the Muppets? You know, the ones that yell at everybody."
Oh my
and
God.
he couldn't think of their names.
Statler
And
Waldorf.
he wouldn't move on from it till he got the
Oh,
name.
that's
He
funny.
kept going, "You know, the two old guys
Yeah,
that sit
yeah.
up top and they yell at everybody. What's
You
their
know,
names?"
Brian Vincent and Jay Burns.
And and everyone's looking at him like, "No, I don't know." And he just,
you know. Yeah.
Is it over yet?
Uh-oh, you dropped a thing.
He's breaking shit now. It's
Nah,
the-
we
it's
can still
fancy.
hear.
all
We
right.
can
As
still
long
hear.
as everyone can still hear in their headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
good.
Good.
Statler and
You're
Waldorf
just
threw
saying-
that down.
Yeah, right.
Is it over yet? I don't think so.
But you know, we
Yeah,
said it.
yeah, that was good. Actually, I have a joke with the
was
Muppets in my act. I can't help it. It's
Do you really?
Yeah.
It's it's
I
hacky.
got two of them.
But
don't feel bad.
High five, yes.
Cal Verducci does
Yeah.
one. I know.
Oh my God! One time, Cal Verducci. Can we talk about him for a second?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had him on.
Cal is the one that helped me get into comedy when I started.
I mean,
So
he's
it's
a
his
nice
fault.
guy,
He's the
but-
one we blame.
But I think that people have ego when a female is headlining, right? So
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
first person
I
to,
agree with you.
to headline me, which is going on way over. I mean, this is like 15 years ago,
Mhm.
maybe a little less, but something around there. Susie Yengo from Catch.
Yep.
Headlined me down in Jersey, and Cal was middling, and he was so mad. He was so
Ah,
mad
yeah.
that he was like almost giving himself an aneurysm. He was like trying to,
Yeah.
trying to blow
Really?
me off the, because he was middling.
Oh,
so like
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to like blow, what am I trying to say?
Yeah, he was trying to blow you off the stage. Like, in other words, make it so difficult for you to follow him.
Yeah,
Right.
he was trying to blow the spot out.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen-
And guess what happened?
Yeah.
I killed. I crushed.
That's
It was no
awesome.
different, and it was like, and that was good for my ego because not a lot of people, unfortunately, book females to close. Like,
Yeah.
I've
Well,
had a
plus-
lot of trouble with
Plus,
that.
he's a high energy act, which isn't always easy to follow. So if you followed
But she
hot-
booked,
And if
booked
he
me
was
a lot
putting
there.
more into it,
Yeah,
Right,
that's even worse.
right, so if you did that, if
That's
you
why I was
followed
like,
that
the
and
kid's gonna
killed,
blow something. It's-
Yeah, right.
oh no, I mean, again, if it wasn't for Cal, I wouldn't have gotten my foot in the door in a lot of places when I first started. So I thank him for that. And he's even admitted this, that I tried to pay him back and book him on a few shows, and he blew up a few spots for me because, yeah, we had one show, 400 people, fundraiser. I hosted, and I had Shane Moss, who's now a huge comic,
Yeah.
doing
Oh,
great for
yeah.
himself. He was the feature,
Mhm.
and Cal was closing the show, and the crowd was fine for me. They loved Shane. They weren't going with Cal as he got a little bit dirty after, even though he knew he wasn't supposed to go that dirty. And when they didn't go with him, he went in attack mode and started blowing the whole place up, and to the point where they asked me for some money back at the end of the
Really?
Yes. Yeah,
Wow.
and never booked me again after
Wow.
that. And he knows. He apologized to me later and said, "Oh, I kind of lost my cool and everything." I'm like, "Well, dude, you've been doing this longer than me. You should know
Not
how to
lose your
handle
cool.
situations, stuff like that." And he's even admitted that he's done some
but
things.
that could be any guy. That story that I just told could be any guy, really.
Yeah.
You
no,
know?
and
Yeah.
we're both friends with a lot of female comics, and a lot of them have expressed that there are a lot of bookers that won't book them because the bookers are part of that boys club.
Right.
Yeah, or the booker, maybe there's a female middle, so oh my God, you can't have two in a row.
Right. Yeah.
Two
Right.
of them.
And I've always, whenever, because I book some shows, you book some shows, I've always tried to just say, okay, who's funny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try
Right.
to block out, is it a female? Is it a male? That doesn't matter.
No.
Is it a black comic? Is it a white comic?
You sort
Just
of want
who's
some
funny,
variety. Like when
right,
I booked
right.
my own show, I wanted like different. I wanted like like maybe even a juggler. Like I had a guy come in who was a ventriloquist,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I had someone sing,
Yeah.
and
Different
Yeah, make it
viewpoints,
different.
variety, like you said.
Well, that was the whole concept of the Royal Flush. I wanted to make sure that I had a queen, king, and ace. Obviously, I'm the ace, but a queen and king was a male and a female headliner, And then it was funny because a couple of the gay male headliners were like, how come I can't be the queen? I'm like, how many fucking spots do we need to take from the women? But then I also had the Joker and the Jack, and the Joker could be
Like a wild card.
Yeah. It was, so that allowed me to be able to do 2 females on the show if I wanted, if I wanted to.
And you did do that.
And I did. Yeah. Maya, I had Maya Mannion on as a Joker, because she wasn't a headliner at that point. So I was like, I want to get her on the show somehow. All right. Well, the Joker doesn't have to be male,
That was I like that room.
That was great.
Yeah, that was.
It was unfortunately when they rebuilt the casino, because they moved from Newport to Tiverton, and the footprint in Tiverton was much smaller, so they didn't have an event center. So
they don't have any room in there to do it at all, huh?
I haven't even gone in there, but I heard there's only like just a few restaurants and then the casino floor.
That's too bad.
Or they have like the equivalent of the Lighthouse Grill, like in Lincoln.
Yeah.
The big stage and stuff, but it's in the middle of the casino floor.
Yeah.
Works great for music, but it's not going to work.
Brother, why don't you book it at the bus stop in Newport?
Hey, brother. I book everything, but I wouldn't book that place.
What was that? The gazebo and
the gazebo at Garden City.
Mary Ellen was talking about getting booked by Dave DiLorenzo at the gazebo in Garden City, and Parada was really quiet as she's telling the story, and then all of a sudden we all look at him because we know that's the type of place like John doesn't say no to anything, and he looks at us, he goes, brother, I book a lot of places, but I wouldn't even book that.
He goes,
he said that?
He goes, I'd book a bus stop, but I wouldn't book that place.
God, yeah. That's funny that's where the line is for him.
Yeah,
the gazebo is just no.
Gazebo in the middle of the shopping
because
center.
A band belongs in a gazebo.
Right, exactly. A band in the middle of the shopping.
In a shop, not outside, but in a shop.
No, it's in the parking lot.
Yeah.
There's not even places for people to hang out. It's in the middle of the parking lot.
I'm looking at Ponderosa. Remember he did the Holiday Inn? Remember that one?
The Ramada Inn in Seacon.
I love that.
The marathon shows.
It was just like it was debauchery, but I loved it. He always
as long as you weren't.
He always packed it in.
Right.
You went up after some crazy person, usually.
Eddie Galvin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fucking no.
I'm kind of a thug. You know what I mean? I'm a thug. Like, I'm not really a comic. I'm like, he says that to me every time I see him. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. What about the rest of the village people?
Yeah. I love Eddie. I love Eddie too. We've been talking about wanting to get him on, but we want Colleen to come on with him
to help control
to help control him, because you never know where it would go.
That would be interesting because they're both comics.
Right.
Brother and sister. They should be like the Smothers Brothers.
I know.
Colleen was a lot of fun when we had her on.
Oh,
man,
yeah.
Some of the stories she told.
Yeah.
Whew, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
Now, in 20 years, there must have been some moments where, as a comedian, you were like, I can't believe I'm here right now. I can't believe I'm working with this person. What are some wow moments that you've had?
Oh, let me take a sip of the bourbon and try to think of a wow moment.
Go ahead.
Well, I saw Richard Jenny. This is at the Tropicana. I know. He was so good, right? So good.
So
the best.
So when people name some of the greatest comedians, he doesn't get named enough, I don't think.
That's right.
Because unfortunately his light went out way too soon.
Well, so there was this thing where they would do like an all-star, like once a year, this Kephart, the guy who owned it, would like to get all his headliners in, and everybody would do like 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
So we'd get like 10 or 15, whatever it is, headliners. So, and it would be called the anniversary show, and he'd have balloons and little party favors, and he went all out, champagne everywhere. People got dressed up.
Yeah.
And so this one year Jenny was on. I can't remember who else was on, but you know who walked through the door to watch Jenny? George Carlin.
Really?
Yep. And I was too young of a comic and too shy, which I'm not shy, but I was shy to go introduce myself to Carlin.
That's an intimidating thing as a comic.
He's my favorite. He's my absolute favorite.
He's on everybody's top list.
Yeah. Well, when people who aren't comics want to ask you annoying questions about comedy, which I have to write a bit about this because I get so triggered now. I hate that word, but people are like, oh my God, what got you started? And all those weird questions. Like, you're like, what's a dumb question? Like, no one else gets that. What got you started in the ukulele? I mean, it's like no one gets that question.
Do you run into a lot of ukulele players?
But people go.
I have 2 upstairs. I'll break it out. Don't make me.
Do you know the joke about?
Do you know any train songs?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Do you know the joke about the kid says to his dad? I mean, I'm setting it up wrong, but the kid goes to his dad. Oh my God, my ukulele got stolen out of the car. He goes, really? Did they take it? He goes, no, the glass is broken, but there's 2 of them in there now. I like ripped that joke apart, but
I get it.
You get the gist.
I
But
do have 2.
but the other annoying questions that people will ask is, who's your favorite? And you say, and I'm talking about non-comics, and you say George Carlin, they look disappointed, like, because he's a comics comic,
Right? Yeah.
I think we get why he's so good, and other people I think he was political.
Yeah.
By the way, I do my friend's voice. This is a character I do
that
sometimes.
I was going to say, if you were doing
my
Carlin, you sounded nothing like him.
my friend. Why do you like George Carlin? My friend.
Sounds like a Karen.
This character, she's a Karen.
Yeah, she's a
I call her
Karen, yeah.
Karen, and then I have a friend who says things to me that I like feed into the Karen character. Like,
Yep.
why do you always wear sweatpants? I mean, I just like to dress up. And after she has like 2 Prosecco's, she goes, your ex-husband was an asshole.
I like how she, of course, drinks Prosecco.
It's so weird.
That fits the Karen
Yeah, of
persona.
course,
And
of
I
course.
realized that she's 70. She told me the other day that she's 70. And I'm like, well, that makes a lot of sense.
Really? Oh my God.
Because the sweatpants thing, what do you give a shit what I wear?
Yeah,
what are you
right,
talking
yeah.
about? What are you even talking about?
The giveaway that she was 70 was when she said, I like a nice pair of dungarees.
Oh my God.
I try. Every once in a while, I come up with a good one.
I like the dungarees.
Yeah. My dad used to say dungarees all the time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Dungarees
I think
and
that's a Northeast
sneaks.
Thing. Dungarees.
Yep.
Yeah.
And sneaks instead of sneakers.
Yeah, sneaks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sneaks.
Yeah, no one around here says tennis shoes.
that's
No,
really
it's
gay.
Fucking stupid.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Yeah,
What
you
is
know-
that supposed to mean?
the thing about that, it's gay.
Hey,
Oh,
It's Norm
No,
Norm
that's
McDonald,
really
because he's gay.
Yeah,
oh my God. I love him.
that guy is he's gay. My favorite Norm, and
Oh
I
my
know
God,
we've
he's
talked
so
about it
good.
before. My favorite Norm joke was the whole Cosby thing. He goes, yeah, they're saying that the worst thing about the Cosby thing is the hypocrisy. And I don't think that's the worst thing. I think it was the raping.
Such a
He's
good
so
joke.
good. Did you see his last Letterman where he talks about like we went
Was
to
it the-
war with the world, and when Germany went to war with the world,
yeah.
and it was close.
And it was close. Yeah. Yeah. Who would have thought that was a close one, huh? Yes.
so he's so
He was
good.
brilliant.
Oh my God.
He
I
was
fucking-
brilliant. Can you
Where-
believe that was last year that he passed away, 2021?
Was it? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
I
we were
still
just
wanna
talking
talk about him because we're probably gonna reach out to you again because we want to do a panel show on people that we've lost this year.
because
Let's
this
do
year's
it.
been
Let's do it.
crazy
Yeah.
with the comedians that have passed. That picture that's floating around with Saget, Louis Anderson, and Gilbert
And
in the same
Gilbert.
picture,
Yeah.
taking a
6 months ago.
selfie.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh wow.
together,
Yeah.
the 3 of them
Weird.
Yeah,
from just 6 months ago.
it's crazy.
And 6
Saget.
months later, they're gone.
And it's so sad because for any of us that started doing this, like 33 years, like Louis Anderson was the first stand-up comic I went to go see. It was him and Rita Rudner at the Warwick Musical
My
Theater.
father used to abuse me.
Oh my God, you guys do good impression.
My father hated me.
Yeah.
Mom, Louis looking at me again. What is he talking about, Mom? Does that bother you?
You guys
So-
gotta listen to the WTF with him.
Yeah.
It's a really good
I-
interview.
I have heard it. It's
Yeah, it's
excellent.
really
It's
good.
excellent.
So good.
You know, he's one of those guys that people have, because he started doing the Family Feud and stuff like that. and-
Right.
They don't
And-
realize what a great comic he was.
Yes,
because
exactly.
he got into acting and
you go
stuff,
back to his
know?
old stuff when he was working his way up. He was
Yeah.
a very good
Well, he
comic.
talked about just
Yeah.
being in the Midwest and like he like went right to he did some clubs, but then he went right to Vegas and got like a whatever you call it with Vegas, like a that residency or whatever
residency
at
that's
a
it, yeah.
casino, and so that was really that's
Unheard of
that's what we pray
back
for.
then. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I did give my right arm for it. Yeah. You can do it better.
Was that Norm? Who was,
Was
that?
that
I'm
supposed to be
confused.
Norm?
We're doing too many comedians. at
Yeah,
one time.
I kind of
That was
combined.
like a
the two.
hybrid.
Hey, the thing about that impression was it sucked.
No, it was gay. It would have been funny.
That was gay.
Yeah, there's your callback.
He's getting mad at me.
No.
All right, you guys are getting a little aggressive.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
All right.
That's my favorite impression by Ace Aceto.
And
Oh.
that's,
He does the best
He used
Gilbert.
to come to Nick's a
that's
lot,
my-
you know, when
Yeah.
this was back when I was a waitress.
Yeah.
Which is
and that's what that. So is that? That's what I was telling Scott at dinner tonight. You were a waitress at Nick's,
for
and then
years.
decided,
Like when I was in college.
yeah. And
I
so,
went to college and everything, you know.
and so
I don't know who
did
that
you? Did you try?
I was going to say, who's
Annette
that
Poll-
an impression
Annette
of?
Pollock having a hot
Sounded-
flash.
yeah.
I went to college.
Yeah, it was Bunker Hill Community College.
You heard Jim Aletta. He goes, I went to college for a month. He goes, it was Bunker Hill Community College. One day I showed up. I couldn't find parking. I dropped out.
And you know what? Knowing Jim, that's
That's a
probably
true
a
story.
true story.
Yeah, that he didn't even
Exactly.
write that as a joke.
No.
You know what's crazy is I had a false start too. I went there for like some class that I was trying to before I went to Northeastern,
Yeah.
and same thing happened. I just couldn't finish it.
Really?
It was like a lot. It was the same exact thing happened to me. There was this big giant
Fucking
parking lot
parking.
back then. It was
Yeah.
like by Boston
goes,
Sand and
"It's-
Gravel or whatever.
It's full. I'm going home.
Yeah, I'm going, fuck this.
Oh, listen, I'm not gonna lie. When I was at Rhode Island College, if I made 3 passes around the whole campus and couldn't find parking, I wasn't going to class
Yeah.
that day either. Fuck it. So
I gotta call my daughter and say, how many classes have you skipped at Rick?
yeah.
Because you can't find parking.
Well, there's a lot more
Because that
parking
shit's
now.
expensive.
There's a lot more parking now, and it wasn't expensive.
But yeah, but
Back
he
then.
used to come to
yeah,
what's his name? He used to come to
Gilbert?
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah. To Nick's. Yeah, but like Nick's, like so. This is 1991,
Yep.
I think, or 90. Yeah, somewhere around there.
yep.
I started working at the Boston one, and like they had big acts. They had national acts
Yeah.
come through there. Like
Yeah.
they'd have Gavin and Sweeney and those guys,
Right.
but they'd have these. Marin used to come through there, and I think Eddie Brill. Like some of them, like had stints where they lived in Boston, or they would visit Boston, or
Yeah, because I think Marin talks about how he moved out of Boston like in '85 or something
right.
like
But
that.
he would come back.
But he would come back,
He lived in
yeah.
New York, so he could probably an easy trip for him.
Right.
But yeah, one time Gilbert like walked 3/4 of the room, but you know, this is when they started papering the room. Like Nick's had
Oh,
this
yeah.
weird, slow but steady decline of all these different incarnations with depending on who was managing the club and whatever. And this was like, I think Gilbert coming back later than then, like, you know, like
Yep.
maybe more toward like 96 or something when the club was starting to, you know, and they were
Uh-huh.
papering the room and giving them meatballs, giving them free food.
So in
It
other
was
words,
so
just
bad.
trying to get anyone in there, and they're not really fans of comedy.
That's right.
Right.
And then you see Gilbert get up there, and you're like, "Oh, it's the guy from Aladdin."
And he's
then
loud
yeah,
and he's like awesome, but they weren't plugging into him because they just weren't.
right. And
Well,
his style.
He wasn't
was-
even a known commodity
Right.
yet. He wasn't
He wasn't as big as
right.
Yeah.
He
He had
hadn't
gotten-
done Aladdin yet. He hadn't done Beverly Hills Cop 2. He hadn't done all that then.
Aladdin was like 90.
2.
Yeah, maybe 92, 93, I guess. So maybe, but
But to the
But
people
again,
who they were drawing, they weren't
didn't-
comedy fans and all.
well,
anyway,
and Iago from Aladdin wasn't Gilbert. Gilbert,
Right. You wouldn't
his
recognize him
his
necessarily,
humor
right.
was very dark and irreverent.
yeah,
You know,
it
so
was. Yeah.
if they're thinking the cartoon parrot's going to get up there
That's
and
right.
just be reciting lines from the movie, and then he gets up there and starts with his material,
Yeah. I met Phyllis Diller too at Nick's.
Did you
Did
Isn't
you
that
really?
crazy? And guess who else? Henny Youngman.
I met Henny
Right?
Youngman.
Henny Youngman.
Yeah.
So this is like the first stint.
When did
I
you
had-
start waitressing there? 58 or
So,
59? Jeez.
She was a car hop waitress. She had one of those.
So, doll, why don't you
trays.
give me
Yeah.
a gin
Hey,
and
give me a break.
soda?
Give me a break, will you, kid?
Yeah, right.
No, I started like.
That's right, doll. You're gonna be a star. I tell you, a star.
Oh, geez. Whippersnapper. I started working there in 1990 in Framingham, Massachusetts, which is weird,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's just I was living with friends. We
Yep.
had a house, and that's when I met Youngman. And what's so funny is like he walked so slow. It took like they
Yeah.
had to walk him down, the center aisle.
he was like-
How old was
Listen
he
to this,
then?
so like
80
3 or
something.
4 bouncers to get him on stage, like help him
Ugh.
up the thing.
Yeah.
But then as soon as he started, he was faster. He was a boom, bang,
Right.
boom, bang. Like he had the act.
The
Hey,
mind was still
His
the
there.
act
body
yeah.
did.
was still
Yeah.
there, but his body was because I met him at the Grill 93. They had him at the Grill 93 one time.
Really?
And
Hey,
I
not
didn't
to
work
brag.
with him. I was that was when the big act would go in the big room, and then they'd still have a comedy show with the unknowns in the
They
in
did.
the
I
little
remember
room.
that.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
Little room in the back there.
The little room in the back. Yeah. That's
That was,
Roll
I
93.
did
Now
many
we're
of
like
those.
pulling out the stops.
Yeah,
that was my
right.
first time on stage. Was
Yeah.
that little back room
Really?
on
Yeah.
a Sunday night?
That was the similar show to that was when they had Dice in the big room, and then me and Florentine were before Florentine even was on Crank
Where's he
Anchors.
from? Is he from
I
Jersey?
Thought he was New York, but I don't know.
I think New Jersey.
But it was me and him in the small room, and
I met him at Dangerfield's. Nice guy.
yeah,
Funny.
awesome
He's funny.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very funny.
And you know what? Yeah, he talks like that. And when he does, have you seen his like Instagram thing?
Yes.
He goes, today on But the Barstool Sports, we talk about, ex-wives
Yeah.
or whatever. And it's hilarious.
He's
so
hilarious.
funny.
Yeah. Next on mental midgets. There's absolutely no midgets on this show. I don't know why we called it that.
Well, he used to go on Opie and Anthony, and then when Jim Norton started doing his Chip Chipperson podcast,
Yep.
he'd bring his son on the podcast. His son
podcast?
is like 4, and his son is as much of a wise ass as he is.
Really?
is. Oh,
And
my
it was
God.
hilarious watching this 4-year-old rip into Jim Norton.
No way. Really?
It's great.
Oh,
It's
wow.
great because he'd be prodding his son, giving him things to say, and the kid's delivery is
Yeah.
spot on.
right.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
so.
And the
funny.
kid doesn't even know what he's saying.
No, he
but
has
he's just-
no
Yeah.
clue what
He's
he's
just
doing.
mimicking his dad.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like,
That's cute.
this
That's
kid,
awesome.
by the time he gets to kindergarten, is going to have such a quick wit. He's going to be thrown out of class.
Yeah, right.
Every day. He's
Nice.
he's got it. So who are some big name people you actually worked with? I mean, don't get me wrong, Henny Youngman, Phyllis Diller, those are some legends that you got
Yeah.
Yeah.
to see when you're waitressing.
I
But
might
when
open
you
for Kevin Meaney, which was down in Newport here, which
one
was
of Ace's
killer.
favorites.
It was killer. He
Yeah.
was so
Yeah.
professional, and
Oh.
we both of us blew the roof off the place.
Loved
It was
him.
like packed, and they all came to see him, and it was like the right demographic. It was like people in their 40s
Yeah.
and 50s. They
Yep.
have some money. They come out to laugh at this like hotel, very fancy hotel.
Yeah.
Everyone
Like a
talks how
Viking or
nice
Oh,
something.
the
he was.
Viking in Newport? Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And that was, I just remember that because it's like, yeah, you remember when those nights that are just so good. And
Yeah.
then I'm in the hotel. I'm like, this is so fucking fancy.
Yeah,
Like,
this is a
yeah.
nice place.
Yeah, and everyone always said how nice he was.
yeah, wicked.
Another one gone too soon.
Phyllis Diller, though, what was weird about her is she didn't have any hair and she didn't wear a
It was-
wig. She just went, fuck it.
Really?
Yeah. She was like me, except I have hair. Like she was like, meaning that
She
she
was
was wearing like a tracksuit.
tracksuit.
It's like
Really?
running up on stage and I couldn't stop. And of course I was a lot younger.
Yeah.
But it was like you wanted her to put a wig on. It's like it was like too much to look
Yeah.
at, you know.
Because every other time you saw her on TV, she had some sort of
wild
That
the
wild-
crazy hair.
But,
Yeah,
you know, her
right.
concept was like to distract people from her looks. She would wear a crazy dress, and,
Yeah.
like, weird hair,
Right.
so they would hear her jokes. And I think maybe people ask me, like, I think, first of all, I like to just wear.
comfortable.
Who doesn't like to wear a hoodie? I mean, I
Yeah.
just wear a hoodie anyway, and then I feel like it helps my act. Honestly,
Yeah. Because you're comfortable.
Is that how you dress when you
Right.
go on stage? Just very
yeah,
comfortable?
now I'm like really, yeah. Well, some of it started because I'd be like, trying to do a million things. You're working your part-time job, and then you go to the gym, and then you're in your gym clothes, and then you go do a set. Or whatever.
Right.
Or maybe you take a shower, but you still just want to wear gym clothes or whatever, So yeah, I just think when you're dressed up, it's too. I mean, you could ask Colleen about this; she probably would agree with me. Like,
Yeah.
if you're dressed up, it's too like hoity-toity. Like, I want to
Right.
come and just like talk to people and like make jokes.
Right.
Right.
And shit,
right.
you know?
Yeah, you want to be yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not. I
So
don't
if
dress
you're
up
dressed
all
up,
that time. Yeah.
It's weird if you dress up. I
Right.
think.
Yeah, I've gone through phases. Like, I think now it's just like jeans and a button-up shirt untucked. Like that's. But I mean, I went through all the phases. I went
Did you?
through. Oh yeah, I remember the jeans with the t-shirt tucked in and the sports jacket, the Jerry Seinfeld look.
Yeah, well,
from
that's
like
like-
the early '90s,
But that's because that's the
late
time.
'80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
the
it.
time.
But I would spice it up. I had cartoon shirts. Like I had Looney Tunes t-shirt.
You're like,
with-
I'm edgy. I'm edgy. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, exactly.
But
Look at me.
some of the old school guys will tell you that as the performer, you should always be dressed better than the audience.
Well,
Yeah, but
Bobby,
that's an
that
old
was
school-
Bobby Collins. Bobby
Yeah.
Collins said that
Bobby
to us.
said-
That's like an
you know?
old school thing that
Yeah.
I think isn't true anymore.
Right,
That's
right.
an old show.
Right. I
business
think that
thing.
has changed because you look at someone like Bill Burr, look at any of his specials when he's on Netflix. button-up shirt and jeans,
Yeah.
What about Louis? Like Louis just
Louis
black
just-
t-shirt, jeans,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
work boots.
And
Yeah,
work boots. Right.
perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, he's from Newton, you know.
He
what I mean?
did. He did one special where he wore a suit, and he said, "I just wanted to one time wear a suit."
Yeah.
But the rest of the time, black t-shirt.
Yeah, he's the best. Him and Stanhope right now, I think, are two of the best.
Stanhope's
So
outfit.
good.
There is
He's so good.
I
Oh, his
know.
outfit's crazy,
His
but I mean,
outfits
his,
are nuts.
his like nobody does what he does. He's so
No.
good.
It's
I know.
almost like he doesn't do a comedy set. He just walks out and starts talking,
Yeah,
and
he's
whatever
so-
happens.
but that's
But
like
it's
how-
so clever and
Yep.
but
funny
it's probably
and prolific.
a little bit more contrived than that. But
It
like,
is.
like
Oh,
Louis,
yeah.
he
It
makes
is, but it doesn't
sound so-
seem like
because he
it.
makes it sound so conversational, and that's what I was telling my
Right.
theater friend who's 70. I was like, see, that's what the skill is, because she goes, I don't know how you get up there, and I go, do you have to say that to me every time? You
Yeah,
have-
right. I've been doing it
I
now.
go because I get on stage and we're in a performance. Like
right.
for me,
right.
it's like I'm like
You
heightened.
snap
I
in
go,
that
you
mode.
snap in that mode,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you're performing. And she was like, "Oh, okay," you know.
It's just something that happens.
But I was
you
telling her,
know?
like with Louis, it's like
Mm.
it's word for word for word. At least with Carlin, it was.
yeah,
You know, and so that's the art, is you making it seem conversational.
Right.
The
right.
best
Sometimes
comedians.
it is a little. I mean, for me, like I sneak in a lot of stuff. I just say
Of
off the top
course.
of my head
Of
Right.
course.
because sometimes I can't think what else to say.
Yeah, stalling.
I just go with it,
Or
No.
and it comes out funny though.
or our
Right.
shows, you know, are people are talking to us at the show, like the audience, or you're interacting with the audience. Whereas someone like Louis, he's in a theater. He's not really
Yeah.
interacting. He's just
It's not a club.
delivering the material. You know what
Right.
I mean? So
the,
it is a
the
little bit
best
different.
comics look like they're just talking.
Right.
But yet,
Right.
you know, and Mike Donovan, when we had him on, described it that like when he gets on stage, he knows every breath he's going to take, every move he's going to make, what
every inflection,
hand the
word for word.
microphone's going to be in for
Is there a
every
medication
word
for
of
that?
every
Yeah.
joke.
ADHD medication.
when-
Yeah,
It's called Adderall.
I want some
Yeah.
Adderall. Can
When-
we snort some Adderall?
Exactly. When he described, like he'll drive to upstate New York to do a show, the entire ride he's going through his act word
for word.
for word. So there is
Wow.
nothing that he doesn't know is going to happen the whole time he's on stage. But yet the goal is to make it look like you're just talking when you get up there.
Yeah, he's really good.
But see, he's also so good that if an audience member yells out, he can also flip that switch and engage with them. Whereas some people who are rote memorized,
Yeah, Kevin Knox
You
couldn't.
know.
He just couldn't talk to he was never talked to the audience.
well,
once.
he didn't take a breath. He wouldn't give
I
him a
know.
chance.
But I think Gav too. He didn't. They
Yeah.
just didn't. They weren't. They wanted to just do their,
They're
right,
act.
right.
monologisting.
But that's
Monologisms.
but that's why they were
that
so
a-
fast paced.
Is that a word?
I made it up.
Monologism.
I'm gonna look it up.
Soliloquism. No.
thing?
Yeah.
Monologist.
A monologist
A
is
monologist.
a thing.
Oh, it's a monologue.
But both
yeah,
of the,
right.
but
Monologist.
both of those guys, Gavin and Noxie, I could watch
Oh,
over
yeah.
and over.
Yeah, I know.
and over.
They were so good.
They were
are
just
so good.
brilliant.
One-
when they
one
were on
was, one
stage.
One
is.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to watch them on stage.
Oh, they had
work
a thing
room.
for Gav, like some kind of an anniversary or a birthday party or something at Laugh Boston.
Yep.
And so 100 comics went up, and it was a big long event. At
Sure.
the very end, he went up and was just saying like, "Thank you,"
Right.
and I'm honored. But that was hilariously funny.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just
Him talking.
just him
right.
talking.
Yeah. Well, because he's got that cadence. And, yeah, that voice.
That sounded like Norm Macdonald.
It
doing
did.
Don
No,
Gavin.
it's Don Gavin.
Yeah,
mixed-
Norm
Norm
Macdonald's
Macdonald as Don.
imitation of
Mixed
Don
with-
Gavin.
No, it's mixed with Bob Hope. Hey, I gotta tell you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you gotta go more in the throat for Norm.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what?
Mhm.
Gay.
You just like when I say
you
that.
just gotta throw that word
Yeah,
in.
you can just go, you gotta get it down in the throat, and you just gotta say gay. Yeah, think about that guy. He's gay.
So it always works.
It's
It works
perfect.
over and over.
Nails
That's
it.
right.
Nails it.
No, again, raping. The only time that word can be made funny is when Norm Macdonald would say it,
Yeah.
because it's not a funny word.
What was the clip I saw recently? The other person that can do
Norm-
jokes like that
Oh.
and get away with it is Ricky Gervais.
Yes.
when he was hosting the Golden Globes, he was talking about a movie on Netflix, Bird Box.
Oh yeah.
He goes, a movie about a bunch of people who had to pretend to be blind so they didn't see anything. It's kind of like working for Harvey Weinstein.
Oh,
And the
my
crowd
God.
starts groaning because they're all Hollywood people. He
course.
goes, what? You're the ones that worked for him, not me. So
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know.
And he, you know what?
He's a
And
reverend.
meanwhile,
Fearless.
Will Smith smacks Chris
Yeah.
Rock.
over a joke. Yeah.
And he said so much worse than
Yeah.
anything that Chris Rock said. But he was watching him at the Golden Globes. I've watched clips of him over and over
oh
again.
yeah, he didn't care
Utterly fearless.
because he
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah, he just didn't care.
You probably already got paid.
Yep,
yeah.
exactly. Didn't
Other
care.
people write usually and help you out and all.
Yep.
He would say misogynistic things like the year after Tina Fey and
Right.
Amy Poehler.
Amy Poehler do it. He said, last year those two were here and got paid the same thing that I'm getting paid this year. And hey, who am I to argue if they want to split the money? That's up to them.
It's so bad.
That's,
He just
That's irreverent.
shits all over everybody and doesn't care.
Yeah.
But recently I heard a clip from him where he said, who are these people that think they have a right to go through life never being offended by anything
Right.
and not, you have a right to be upset because I said some words
Mhm.
that you don't like. Who are you to think that you have a right to go through life without
Without being
anything?
offended.
Well, that's
ever
that whole,
happening
that's
to
that
you?
whole
Offended.
woke thing, right?
Yeah.
You know what? This is what I think about that is that like I don't want to like call out a certain group of people, but
Yeah, but
Karens.
there is
no,
a certain
not
group of people.
Karens,
No,
but
I'm
like
kidding.
people who are younger, it's like
Mhm.
hypersensitive. If you're
Yes.
hypersensitive, it's all right. Let me start over. When you get triggered, a lot of times it's like your own stuff. It's
Right.
like, you can't have the whole world organize itself and
Bubble
don't say
wrap.
this word and don't say that
Right.
word and
Right.
organize so that I don't get upset. It's the other way around.
That's not
Right.
real
You
life.
have upset stuff already.
Yeah.
And then the world is sort of triggering the upset stuff that wants to
you
come
have
out.
to learn how to not be triggered by that or how to deal with that. That's
Right.
part of therapy. I mean, you go to therapy and that's what they say.
Maybe
How
we
are you
should
going to
make-
deal with
we
it?
should do. We should make little Paxil treats, for the kids.
Yeah.
Paxil treats, gummies.
Yeah, little,
Paxil gummies.
for the audience member. When someone loses their mind, you go have
Didn't
a little
mean to get you
gummy.
excited with
I
gummies.
got excited with gummies.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm kidding.
Are you two a couple?
No,
All right, I'm sorry.
there's another one-liner. We
Save
have
that
more,
one.
We have more one-liners from this show for people because we'll argue with each other. And Jason, did you watch Ghost Hunters? Jason
no.
from Ghost Hunters.
No.
He's like the main guy.
I have
from
two
there.
ghost hunting friends that we got to find them a place. Anyway,
All
that's
right.
another story.
But he was on, and he goes, "You two are like a married couple."
An old
we have,
married couple.
We have like more people saying we're like a couple. It's ridiculous.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys
It
should
is.
go on. You should go on stage together. You know what? Honestly,
Yeah, we'll be like Martha and
We-
Sister Imogene.
We'll have to do something at the Comedy Park in
didn't
August.
Yeah,
Cato
right.
and Moran start in Providence?
They did.
They
Yeah,
used
we
to
had
come to Nick's and annihilate.
Yes.
they were so good.
We had
Well,
Tommy Moran on.
we had Tommy
Oh, is he
Moran on.
funny?
Yeah, we had him on last year, and I knew how big they were
Yeah.
because they started like they were a couple of years before me. So when I came on to the scene, they were like hosting Thursday nights at Periwinkle's. I thought they were big, but I didn't realize just how fast their rise
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Now, when did Cato pass away?
God.
What year was that?
It was probably early 2000s,
Okay.
late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that was that long ago.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we talked about that when we had him on.
Oh.
But
Does
yeah,
he still do stand up?
He just started getting back into it. Not Cato because he's dead, but Tommy Moran just started
Sorry,
doing it again. I
that's
know.
he,
funny.
he killed.
Yeah.
There was a guy I can't remember his name, but he like on the road that
Mhm.
he used to have his partner, like they were a team, and then the
Mhm.
guy, I forget if they had a falling out or whatever, and he would still do the act as the two of them.
As the
It's
two of
just
them?
him.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that weird? It was
That
so
is
funny.
weird.
Yeah, that is
How do you
weird.
pull that off?
Well, he did a lot of like
Wow.
sound effect stuff, and I don't know. It was I can't remember.
And his
that
name
guy's
was Michael Winslow.
Haha.
Well, when I started, we used to do the open mic at, unfortunately, the Station nightclub.
Mm.
here in Warwick
Oh,
that
damn.
burned
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And
Wednesday nights.
there was a team. Was it Seth and Steve?
Seth and Steve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
And
I don't know what happened to Steve, but I'm friends with Seth on social media.
they were hilarious. You know, together they were absolutely funny. And then one week they decided to do sets separately, and halfway through the second one set, someone in the audience yells, "Get back together, you suck by yourself."
Oh my god.
So next week they were back up there as a team. But they were very funny. You know, some people have that chemistry where it just works.
Yeah.
And you don't see that really
Yeah.
There's
anymore,
not
because
too
that's
many.
that old
You have
school
to like
style of
develop
comedy.
it. There was two brothers from Charlestown that
The Walsh brothers.
yeah, the Walsh brothers.
Yeah.
And then they went out to LA, and I
Yeah.
think, you know, they gave it I don't know their
I don't know
whole
what they're
story,
doing, yeah.
but they came back. I mean, I think it's just
Oh, they're
like,
back?
I think they
Oh,
came
I
back.
didn't know that. They were the ones.
They were so good too.
Well, all I remember is, do you remember the like videos on YouTube of people planking? A couple of years ago, it was like a fad. They started that.
Did they really?
Yeah, they started it. They
and
were
this
like,
is before Instagram. And
yeah,
everything.
exactly.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was when it was on
like
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yep, and it was Chris and
Their
I forgot the other brothers.
their show was called The Great and Secret Comedy.
Yeah.
Show.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
then they went out to LA, and you know, I don't know the whole story, but like they should have popped. They were so good.
They were.
But LA, there's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah,
You know what I
no.
mean?
No, someone could walk up on stage the first time, someone likes them, and they
If
get a
like
deal.
they didn't do, like, if Mitzi didn't like them, which
Really?
I don't know if she did or not,
Oh,
but it's like
oh.
if she didn't, you know,
Right.
then
Now you're out of
Right.
the store.
Then there's only-
and
that's like
the
1/3.
Laugh Factory is the other place.
Yeah,
And
and Ice House,
Ice House, right? And Hermosa Beach, is that in the same
Comedy Magic
place,
Club,
right?
No, Ice House is like in Pasadena, but
Oh,
yeah, those
okay.
are like the big ones. And then
Right.
if you're not,
In
Yeah.
one of them. Yeah, right. That's crazy. Yeah, the Walsh brothers were funny. And then I don't know if it might have been before your time, but we talked about them a couple of weeks ago. There used to be a group of guys from Rhode Island called the Beatles.
oh yeah,
Chris and JP, they were hilarious.
Hmm.
They were very, very funny.
I wonder if I saw them.
Comedy
I
team.
remember the Cato and Moran, but I feel like there was another team that I saw.
What was Chris Zito's?
Zito and Bean.
Zito and Beans.
Oh, that was before my time.
That was before my time
Yeah.
too.
Chris is a nice guy. He used
Oh,
to put me
yeah.
on at the Vault. I can't believe that's not there anymore. Did
know.
you do it a lot?
I didn't do it a lot. I did it a
did.
couple of
Did
times.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Vault was just like
Love the
my
Vault.
go-to place. I would go there Thursdays a lot, and then they pay me to host the Micers on Sunday, which I love because I'd be
Mhm.
like, "Look how cute the kids are, just starting out with the comedy."
Yeah.
and I would like encourage them, like, "Yeah, just keep going with your thing about your balls. That's great.
Yeah. Do more dick jokes. They really work
They
well.
do like the dick jokes
Yeah.
if you have
That
them, you know.
jock itch bit is going to kill.
Yeah.
Keep working on it.
Keep working on it. You'll get to East Providence
Oh my
someday.
Keep teabagging the baby powder, honey."
Well, that was, you mentioned Noxie earlier. When you did his Monday night at the Connection in Boston, he complimented everybody
same.
that got on
That's how I
stage.
felt when even my show in New York. I
Everybody.
felt like I wanted to, and nobody really does that in New York. I really wanted
No.
to just lift them up. Like, this is the
Yeah.
best show. And I would also I really paid attention to making sure that the show went up here and stayed up
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't make the young kid take the check spot. That's a big thing in New York.
Yeah.
And then the whole show goes down, and then you can't get it back. You know,
you can't
I
get
would
it
think
back,
of the whole
right?
show. And so I feel like I produced and like made a good show for the kids. you know?
Yeah.
And then I'd have some.
I do it for
Well,
the
you
kids.
probably learned that because that's how Noxie
That's how
was.
Boston is.
Noxie was like,
Boston.
"Hey, this next guy coming to the stage, we're so fucking lucky to get
Oh,
him."
he's,
Oh my god,
his cock is hard.
he drove
It's so
up here.
hard. That,
He drove
what
up
a
here
cow.
from Rhode Island. These young guys, you know.
But you'd watch a guy do 5 minutes
Yep.
where he didn't do well, but Knox would find the
I
one
know.
joke that got a
Yep.
laugh and
Yep.
go up to the kid and go, "Oh, that one joke you did about the horse, that was hilarious.
Keep working on
Keep
it.
working that." He'd find the one positive
Yeah.
in everybody, and he'd walk up to every guy after their set, every girl after anybody
Yep.
that did a spot, and find the one positive thing in their act and point it out to them
Yeah, he was a
and,
sweet guy.
and make
He really
make
was.
them feel good.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget, because when I did my first time there, how scary that is, that
Yeah.
room and everything,
Mm.
and him making you feel great about it afterwards. The guy was phenomenal.
You know, it was a
Dun, dun,
testament.
dun, 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 dun. I hate Toyotas.
Yes, drive home drunk. I put one hand on my. Oh, there's less lanes.
Look how many lanes there are. I can fix that.
Is he the one that used to do the joke about going to Domino's and ordering a
Yes,
pizza?
that was my favorite Noxie joke ever. If you don't have enough money for a taxi when you've been drinking all
Yes,
night
yeah,
long
yeah.
and a pizza, just do what I do. Go to Domino's and order a pizza and catch a
Get the
ride with
ride
the
home.
delivery guy and tip him a slice.
Fuck, they're going there anyway.
They going there anyway. He was one of the, and everybody loved him.
And Gab, I can just watch him a million. And I did watch him a million times because
Yeah.
he was at Nick's a lot when I was there
Yeah.
waitressing. And then after, when I started doing stand up, I'd be on shows with him and always watch him.
And you watch, some of the guys that we adore, the Tony V's, the Jimmy Dunns, Tom Cotter.
Yeah,
they
they're
all
so good.
they all love, Gavin.
Yeah.
Absolutely love Gavin.
Yeah.
They have a lot to, they owe him a lot.
Oh,
because-
exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah,
They
he
do.
opened a lot of doors for people. Absolutely.
Well, just in the style
weird.
too. Being, you know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
Being around someone like that,
Yeah.
and seeing how good, then it raises that's why I think Boston comics are good, really, because
Right.
it's like the levels are so high. Sweeney and him.
Right.
What's his name? I can't think of who passed. And so it sets the bar really high. So the rest of us
Right.
like try to write like that and get that pace. At
Right.
least
Oh
somewhere
yeah.
in
Listen, I will completely admit that Kevin Knox was probably the biggest influence on my pacing
yeah.
because I saw how much people laughed and couldn't catch their breath.
Yeah.
And I wanted that.
And that's
so I would
basically-
do
yeah.
that fucking
And
pace.
Knox,
you know?
I can
Knox
see
was
that 'cause you-
influenced by Gab. I mean, really.
Right. Yeah.
I can see that because you still have that energy level
I
when you're on stage.
I don't.
You
I
still keep
never-
your energy level really high.
I
I tried it, but
absolutely
it's
never
usually after 10
dial it in.
minutes, I go, now I'm tired.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I somehow get a second win when I could be dead tired, but once I get up on stage and get a few laughs, I am like shot out of a cannon and I don't stop. I give 110% when I'm up there.
Yeah.
I never dial it in.
No, you
know?
you definitely do, and you can tell.
Sometimes I have to, like the show we did last week. It was almost like even though it was in a community room or like a I don't know what the hell it
Reception
was, like a
hall
reception
or-
hall. The audience acted like a theater, and I saw that
Yes.
because they had told
We
us
talked about that. Yeah.
they had told us that the person who headlined a couple of years ago didn't do that well, and that person I know, we both know, and they have this real fast cadence where they say stuff and then they say stuff under their breath and they say something and say something outside,
Yeah.
like that really quick, like
a
Gavin.
Rita Rudner.
Well, like Gav,
Yeah.
he'll say something and hey,
yeah, his
yeah,
tags are,
I got I went to Puerto Rico the other day. A lot of fucking Puerto Ricans, you know, like that's how this other person was. And so when I heard that and I saw, I don't know if it was you or Tyler went up and did a joke and then immediately followed it with another one, they didn't laugh as hard as they should have. And I'm like, but then I noticed you slowed down.
Yeah.
And when he slowed down, it was like that rolling laughter, like in a theater where you
Yeah, you do
say
have to
something
watch
and
and
you
see.
wait.
Mhm.
And I slowed it down.
Right.
Even though I was still high energy, I slowed
You had-
the pacing.
I picked up on the fact that if you paused,
You got the laughs.
you did your setup, paused for an extra second, delivered your punchline, and then paused and let them really soak it in, you'd get a bigger laugh.
And it wasn't begging for the laugh.
Because
No,
of
you
because
just-
of the way the sound was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the way the room was set up, the way the sound traveled around the room and
Yeah,
everything.
right.
You had to give them that just
That
extra
little bit.
second or so.
Isn't it so funny? It's
So
so
weird.
meticulous. What we do.
And 'cause,
Right.
you
And
know,
people think that it's just
and it's the same thing. I was
getting up there.
listening to the opener, and a couple times they missed a great line he said because he rushed to get to that next line, and
Right.
they didn't hear it because
Yeah.
he didn't give them enough time to laugh at the last line he said. So he stepped on himself almost, and I was
Yeah,
like,
it was-
okay, I
it's
gotta
funny. I
change my pacing a little bit.
I worked with Caroline Ray. It was just
Mhm.
the two of us, so I guess open feature, whatever you want to call
Right. Yeah.
it. But she said that after the show, she's like, you kept stepping on your laughs.
Your laughs.
But I don't think I was. I was trying to connect them. I was like trying to get to the next.
Yeah.
But in a theater, you don't have to. That's the difference.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In a club, you do.
Right. Yeah,
keep
exactly. But
it's a certain pace.
I never saw Kevin Knox in a theater. I always saw him in a club. So that was how I was trained to pace. You know what I mean?
Well, that's good though. It's good.
The first time you do a big crowd like that is the first time you experience an applause break.
Right.
Like you get a big laugh in a club, it's one thing, but when you get a kind of a laugh applause break where you really have to pause, it's weird the first time that happens because you're so ready to kind of go to the next thing. And you're like, no, I gotta wait a second.
I gotta keep him going.
And I got that advice from somebody when I did my first big show like that. They said, you'll notice if you get a big laugh, you're going to have to wait an extra second or two before you say the next thing, or they're not going to hear your star of your next show because they're still laughing.
They're still laughing, especially in the back.
They said, listen, and you'll hear the laughs. And when you hear it start to come down, then go into your next show.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of follow the energy like a wave. And that was the best advice I got for doing a big show.
I sort of like doing big theaters because the stage is really big and you can really do what you want. Like you can go faster, you can go slower, you can work really big. I like having like a lapel mic or a
do you? Yeah. I still love a mic in my hand when I'm performing.
Whenever and it's not that often that you get that opportunity. I often leave it in the mic stand. I can't even be bothered with excuse me.
See, I use it as a prop too many times. Like I do the wedding of Cana joke.
Yes,
I'm hanging on the mic stand. Like if I show up at a place and there's no mic stand, I'm like, oh fuck.
But you know who I actually saw who did it well, and that's what makes me want to do it. If they have it at a theater, I'll opt for it. Is Richard Jenny? His last two specials. One's called
Platypus Man is one of my favorite specials.
Big steaming pile of that was great. HBO. But he had and I'm like, you can actually do that. Yeah,
like a headset.
And he's also dressed down. He's just wearing a regular shirt. And pants. And I think they're both navy, so it's not dressed up and it's not dressed down. It's just somewhere like Carlin.
In between. Well, Carlin was always like black pants and black sweater, or
fucking best man.
Oh, Carlin at Carnegie. I memorized that entire special. When
that last one when he's like, they own you. Yeah. There's a reason education sucks. You know that one.
I know.
He's so good.
I know. I could. You mentioned Jenny, and I'm thinking of his in Platypus Man when he talks about NFL referees when they click on the mic and they start talking.
Yeah.
And he does the one about the guy that he goes, I want to see one of these guys lay down the field, and goes, so my wife left me the other day. And he goes into this whole thing while the guy talking about his life and everything.
That's
and it's
awesome.
so
I don't remember seeing that
funny.
One. Yeah.
That was in Platypus Man, which I believe you can still watch on Amazon Prime right now, people, if you want to see a brilliant comedian.
He was.
Watch him.
This is really good.
I'm glad you like it.
I know. I didn't know.
She was like, I'm just gonna have a few sips.
Is this bourbon?
I just want a sippy.
I got extra bedrooms if you get too big.
Yeah, plenty of room in this big house. But anyway,
back at their moms.
As we get ready to kind of wrap up here, one of our our absolute favorite question to ask comedians, because comedians really appreciate this story. We call it the funny bad gig story.
Yeah.
It's the story that's not really so funny while it's happening. It's the moment that makes you second guess your career choices.
Okay.
For me, it was when I thought maybe Enterprise is hiring. Maybe I'll brush off the resume. But a few weeks later, you're in the green room or you're hanging out with other comics and they're telling you about a bad gig and you're like, oh, really? Hold my bourbon while I tell you this one.
Yeah, kind of like working with Cosby. Sorry.
This is your one-up story.
Oh, no, Cosby ain't gay.
Except for the raping.
Except for the raping. Sorry. Any chance I get to do an impression, you look beautiful, of course.
Thanks,
She's primping.
She's primping for the last question. How you doing?
You know what's funny? Her Karen voice sounds like Maya Mannion doing her mom.
Yes. That's where it is.
Maya.
I'm sitting here thinking that voice sounds
Karen,
familiar.
I found a wig for Karen, and once
Maya.
Yeah, exactly.
Maya likes mashed potatoes.
And you know what I found when I was doing this character on stage? Not to not answer the question, we'll get to the.
Well, we will.
But
we're going.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know if I have a green screen room. I'll find one. But it's like you have to write bits for her.
Yeah.
Like I was doing stuff like in the pandemic. Like it's really fun to selfie shoot her and then like edit them together. And you can make jokes. You can almost make the
Like
punchlines
memes.
by the way you edit.
Right.
But when she's on stage, it's like, oh, it's not the same.
the
Like it's not
same.
as funny.
See, but you know what's funny?
So now I'm like, I have to write an act for her because then I'm lazy.
But when we had Bob Marley on, he said, but I get away with saying things on stage that I would never say because it's one of the characters saying it.
He has characters? I
Well,
guess
it's
he
his
does.
dad, his
Oh, yeah,
sister, you know, so he makes
it more seamless. It's not like, okay, I'm doing a character now. It's like, in his
yeah,
act. Yeah.
No,
okay.
he'll be like, you know, and then my dad, it's, you know,
Yes,
and
that's right.
the best part about Marley is
He's so good.
if you knew his dad, because you know he was the doorman at the club, you know, it's him to a T. It makes like to people who don't know his dad, it's funny. To comics who know his dad, it's even funnier. To me, I always thought when he would start doing his dad on stage, I
sometimes just say things on stage that I go, and then sometimes I'll go, I'll wait, and then I have to laugh, and I'll say, I can't believe I just said that.
Yeah,
you know, and then I'll say, oh, it's the Cosmo or something.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
But that's how he gets away with putting in stuff that he would never say, or it breaks character from what people would expect from him because he'll say it as someone else. You know what I mean?
He was down in Florida. I was just down there with Mary Ellen, and I think that it was off by a few days because I was like, let's just drive and go see him.
And
like
go
he was
see
down in
him.
Tampa or something. But
Yep.
I remember this because we mentioned the vault. I remember for Nightmare
Funny bad gig.
Yeah. Nightmare stories. You know, I used to drop in there a lot, but Dick started doing this thing where he would have too many newbies going in the beginning.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
So the person hosting, terrible. You know, not having any hosting skill, like not even like bringing the show up right. Like sometimes he would have his wife go on and start the show, and she would, you know, she's very lovely, but she would have kind of a high pitched voice. Hi, everybody, we're gonna start the show.
Well, a lot of times the host was the person that was collecting tickets.
Yeah, so
that's why they got to.
They
host.
weren't done
So
collecting tickets.
the guy who's collecting the tickets, maybe he went to Staples and got them printed that day.
Right.
This is the big day hosting. Terrible job, right? Then the problem was that he would put on like 3 or 4 more people that were just terrible.
Yeah.
So there wasn't the show hadn't even started by the time I got on. You know what I mean? And like sitting through painful. So like the first guy, first host, terrible. First guy, another one, like an open micer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, by the time the third one gets on, now the crowd's getting unruly. Now the
Right.
crowd's
They're
getting
getting upset.
unsettled. They're getting upset. It's not funny. And there's a bachelor party with a table like this,
Ugh.
full of guys. Right now, they're starting to really rip apart whoever's on the third or fourth one. You know, and they're taking over the show. They're heckling.
Right.
No, no one's making it funny. No one's telling to be quiet. Then Albanian Irish goes on. And I think people don't understand what you have to do. Like like that day, I probably worked during the day, and then maybe I went for a run on the beach or something, and then made my way all the way from Revere down to downtown, found parking, got my ass all the way over there. You know what I'm saying? Waded through all these bad comics, and now I'm gonna work on material that I'm working on.
Right.
Man, I went on stage, and so that's my mindset. Is I've been writing at this point. I've been writing a lot, so I'm really working on stuff. I have an agenda.
Right.
So I go on, they're not only are they not laughing, they're not listening, and they're heckling me really hard.
Ugh.
And my friend Danny Miller likes to go, I can tell when you're mad because your nostrils flare. It's like a dragon thing starts to happen. And I said,
I can see Danny's face.
and I was like really starting to get mad. You know how like you make it funny a couple of times, like you shit on them, but like they
after a while,
the whole audience hasn't even laughed yet.
Right.
And so they are really being rude, and finally one of them says something sexist, and that was it.
Just triggered.
I go, this mic stand is solid piece of iron that I am gonna put through your fucking face or something. And I actually picked it up. Oh my! And you know what I did? Then I put it down and I walked off. I've never done that in my life. I was so angry that I'm like, I better just
yeah, right. Wow.
Because I can't win.
Yeah.
Why am I even going to try?
Right.
They weren't. It's not even my fault. It's like the way the show was set up.
No, it's not. And here's the thing. I'm sitting here thinking it's not your fault. It's actually not the audience's fault.
Yeah. It's not
because the audience paid to go there and see a comedy show.
That's right.
If you're going to have 3 shitty comics on the show, or newer comics, I shouldn't say shitty, but newer comics, you need to pepper them throughout.
That's right.
you can't have a weak show start and then expect the audience to go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now
Have
there's a real
strong-
comic
have
on.
a
They're all
strong
pissed
host,
off.
Have a strong host,
Right.
and then maybe a guest set or whatever. But like, you got to do it the right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said to Dick, I think I remember saying something to him like, "Why didn't you like talk to the table?" Or he's like, "Oh, I wanted to see what you were gonna do." What? I was gonna fucking murder the guy.
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna do.
gonna shove an
I
iron
was so mad.
bottom fucking mic stand,
And
through
that
this
would
guy's
actually really
skull.
hurt someone.
Oh,
You
yeah.
could-
Those are cast iron.
Yeah.
Those the bottom of the
I could have murdered him.
the good ones.
That would have been funny.
We would have been doing
Scott
this.
looks mortified.
Hey, we really would have been doing this through
Well, no.
StreamYard because she'd be in a jail cell right now.
Yeah, I'd be like,
Yeah.
Greg Fitzsimmons,
oh,
one
wow.
time,
Oh, I love him.
phenomenal,
Funny,
comic.
yeah.
Very funny.
Another Periwinkles guy.
He's on stage, and there's a guy in the audience. It's winter.
At first, I thought you meant Greg Carey, but I like Greg Fitzsimmons too.
Two.
I was like, I love him.
I love
Greg.
him. Completely different
different
person.
Greg.
Very different. Yeah. Know
Okay.
what I mean?
It's
Greg Carey.
it's winter time, and he's irritated because this guy on side of the stage is wearing shorts and sandals,
Yo.
and the guy has his feet up on the stage.
Yeah.
Like it's a
You know, and
hassock.
I
or a
yell at
hammock.
people. I go, no.
So he goes up on stage and he starts his act, and like a couple minutes in, he looks at the guy. He goes, "Hey, my friend, what do you do for a living?" And the guy says, "Plumber," or whatever he says. And he goes, "So you're not in show business?"
Yeah.
The guy goes, "No." He goes,
Get your
Then-
feet off the
"Then
fucking
get,
stage.
get your fucking
It's an
feet
old-
off my
it's an old
stage."
line. It's
Yeah.
And the
Right.
guy goes, yeah. He goes, "No, seriously, dude, can you please take your feet off the stage?" And the guy goes, "I'm not hurting anybody." He goes, "All right, I'm not going to play with you. Take your feet off the stage, or I'm going to take this." And he picks up the mic stand with the full bass on the bottom, and I'm going to shear your toes off.
Oh my god!
Completely.
Really?
And the guy goes, yeah. And he goes, "I'm going to count to 5, and I'm going to slam this down right where your foot is right now." And he holds up like this, and the guy's sitting back, like, yeah, go ahead. And he goes, it counts to 5,
Yep.
and
slams
slams it down, and the guy pulls his foot out just in
Oh,
time.
that's hilarious.
And it hits the stage,
That's
and you hear
hilarious.
boom, and the whole room is now dead,
Dead
silent.
Yep.
And I'm in the back room like, I can't believe he was
So
going to
awkward.
Yeah.
actually hit this guy's foot, and he saved it. He pulled them back in, got everybody laughing, saved it. And that guy didn't laugh very
rude.
much.
It's
No.
really rude to have your feet on. I
Yeah,
actually did
it
a
is.
similar thing recently, but actually it made it so funny because I kept looking back at him, and
Yeah.
the guy would, and it was like
And
this
he'd take it
game.
off.
I
Yeah,
didn't want to
right.
do that, but
But at least the guy's being a little silly with you. This guy was just being an obnoxious asshole
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the side of the stage. And, like the host, first said something to him. The guy just ignored him. And,
hey, before I forget, I want to give you guys a shirt. Now I'm
Oh.
Karen again. I don't know.
Oh boy! All of a
You-
sudden she's
Oh,
Karen.
all of a sudden
I
you
have
turned
a
into
shirt.
Karen.
I just sometimes I spontaneously. It's good that I don't spontaneously turn into my like Albanian mafia guy Rocco character, because that would be weird. I'd be like being a guy.
Yeah, right.
You know,
We got to start getting. We keep talking about getting coffee mugs for our guests, so we like Mark Maron does.
yeah.
We
So
gotta
I'm
get
doing
some
it in
coffee
the
mugs.
reverse. I'm giving you guys.
I
a
know.
gift.
and
how cool is that?
I actually have a mock-up one that somebody made for me.
All right.
You guys can fight over it, but I'm gonna. The camera's over there, so
All
it's
right.
it's my shirt. It says "You can't afford me."
Yeah, I'm
Aw,
gonna guess
isn't
that-
so
That
cute?
doesn't fit.
Yes, it's gonna fit neither of us. But
It's an extra large,
Yeah.
Extra large in kids.
and you guys fight
husky
over it.
kid. Thank you,
I
Stacy.
gave it to him because I thought it might fit him better. I don't really know.
Wow.
Sorry.
No, I was thinking the same thing when you held it up.
Yeah, it could fit me.
Could fit your daughter.
Well, you could give it to
Yeah, I'll give it to my daughter.
someone. Yeah, give it to your daughter.
Thank
nice t-shirt.
That's awesome.
Those are
Well,
nice.
we owe you a mug because we got to start.
Yeah,
getting
we're
some-
having some made, and
some
we'll
swag.
definitely get
some
one to you.
swag.
So, because we're definitely going to have you back on when we
Yeah.
do one of the panel shows, because I would love to get you on, and when we kick around a subject and take a deep dive into something.
Well, and especially
Get your
because you
opinion.
spend so much time in New York. So, like, a lot
Yeah.
of times we'll do panel shows about other comics who, are in New York. So you may have worked with a lot of these people. So that'd be awesome
Let's
to have
do
you
it.
back.
yeah,
I'd love
definitely
to.
love to have you back on. So, anything we can promote for you as far as social media, website, anything like that?
My YouTube channel. I need subscribers
Subscribers?
because I'm making these like little mob short movies.
Okay.
Okay,
So yeah, we sort of kill people. Santarelli's gonna be
We
in one.
sort
of
of killed-
nice. Santarelli in a mob movie.
I know, that's so
weird.
weird.
Right? It's so weird.
That's so off character for him.
Tony
He's like, I won't
Capibianco.
drive to Providence. I'm like, fuck.
Tony
I found a location in North Providence.
Hey.
Sunnyside.
Sunnyside, yeah, where Brian Vincent is
Yes,
the
isn't
bartender.
that the
yeah.
I go, this is the
My
best
grandfather
place.
used to own that place.
Oh my god.
Tony Solitro, crime figure from the Ribisi family.
Really?
No, that's Frank Santarelli when he talks about his character on Law and
Oh,
Order.
Law and Order.
oh, funny. Yeah.
Crime mob figure from the Ribisi family.
Yeah, that's he does sort
He's
of
a
over enunciate.
Yes.
But yeah, so anyway, I need subscribers. It's
All right.
go on YouTube, Stacy Kendro. So that's the channel, and the
Okay.
channel they'll have like some stand up, but you'll
Let us
see
know if
because
you
it
need
says
any
Albanian
extras.
fashion. Yeah, y'all. I mean,
Cool.
what here? So what I'm learning is that you gotta like each one. I learn a lot because I do everything. I direct and I write them and I
Yeah.
edit them and stuff. So they each are different. The one I did in Vegas, I think, is still the best one that
Yeah.
I've done. But I'm editing one right now. And I want to shoot one at Sunnyside. Like once I get a location, that's
Listen.
like half the battle.
Yeah.
Listen,
So you guys, I'll tell you about it. 'Cause
I
it's down
grew
here.
up in the Sunnyside neighborhood. My mom still lives 3 streets away.
Oh my god, we should shoot something in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I will.
Shoot someone.
I will
Yeah.
definitely. I'll put the link to
Mom.
your YouTube.
Mom, we're gonna use your kitchen for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, honey.
What's the line
Ma,
for?
I gotta borrow this knife.
Yeah.
You know the hoof.
Yeah, the hoof.
The hoof.
Look, one dog's looking over here. The other one's looking over there.
Hey, kind of looks like someone we know.
Good ending.
But I'll definitely put the link to your YouTube channel in today's show notes. So if you're listening and you want to check out Stacy's YouTube channel, just go to the show notes and the link will be there, and you can definitely check that out.
Definitely check it
if
out.
if
Amazing.
Santarelli is in there with you, that's worth the price of admission
Yes.
alone.
Oh my God.
That's it. We love Santarelli. We love having you on. So thank you so much. Ace,
I got nothing.
anything to add tonight?
No, no, just
It's so nice to have
be
you back
back.
here in the basement
I
with
know,
us again.
it's
and
nice to be back in my house too.
yeah, in your house.
I like it. I do like
You
it.
know.
No, listen. Hey, folks, a couple of things. So the Rhode Island Comedy Hall of Fame, as you know, as
Yes.
we've mentioned before,
We've talked about it a lot. We've had a lot of the
I'm
inductees
I'm
on.
gonna be at the club.
the
Is
big
club
joke. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Comedy Park.
affiliated?
Yeah. So the
I don't know anything
the
about that.
Hall of Fame is actually going to be in the club. We are doing a fundraiser show for that because obviously it costs money not only for the club but also to build the Hall of Fame and what's going to go along because it's going to be interactive. There's going to be like a monitor with a bunch of interviews from Hall of Famers, and so we're going to be doing a fundraiser show this month on April 29th. That is the grand opening of the Comedy Park, and a lot of the Comedy Hall of Famers, myself, John Parada, Doreen Collins, Bobby Brajol, Charlie Hall.
Bobby Brajol.
We're all going to be on the show, and we're going to be raising money for the actual Hall of Fame so that the old joke of the Rhode Island Comedy Hall of Fame isn't so much a hall as a website. Will
no longer be true.
be true. Actually, yeah, Rock and Joe will be on the show as well. So listen, get your tickets. They're only online. Go to funnyforfunds.com. Look for the Rhode Island Comedy Hall of Fame
April 29th.
show April 29th
I think I'm
and
on
buy
that
your
one,
tickets.
or the next one. Is
I think
Parada on
you're
the
on the
29th?
next one.
I'm
You're
on
on
the
the
next one.
30th and the 31st one. And that's for the actual club
That's
itself,
for the club.
which the Saturday show is already sold out.
Yeah.
And the Sunday show is getting close to selling out. But we want to sell out the one for the Comedy Hall of Fame because, again, it's a great cause. It's to build the Hall of Fame itself or to defray the costs of building the Hall of Fame, which did cost money. So April 29th, go to funnyforfunds.com. Look for the April 29th show at the Comedy Park. And that's all I got to plug.
No, that's a great plug.
Thank you.
Going to be a great show, great weekend for the Comedy Park, the newest club that's opening up in Rhode Island by our friend Bill Simons. We had
It's
him
so
on
exciting
to talk
Yeah.
about
exciting
it.
to have a new club.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Saturday night show, April 30th, is sold out. They added a show on the Sunday, so I think there are still some tickets available on the Sunday show.
Sunday there is.
Go to the same site, funnyfunds.com events, and you can go to the Sunday show as well.
That's right.
You know, talk about a bookend weekend. You can see the Hall of Fame guys on Friday. Go Sunday, see Billy and Stacy,
all
and
different people.
some great comics for that, and that'll just make for an awesome weekend of comedy at the grand opening of the brand new club, the Comedy Park. So definitely check that out. So thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget the 5-star written reviews. That's one review, all 5 stars at once.
We have to explain that. We had someone give us a great written review, but only 1 star.
Oh no!
I
All
think-
the stars and then the bikini.
all the stars.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
think they thought that it's 5 weeks of 1 star adds up to 5 stars, but it
Oh,
doesn't
no,
work that
no.
way.
No.
So 5 stars with 1 review, quick sentence, quick line of what you like, and we appreciate that. It's a great way to help out the podcast.
And what size bathing suit you'd like to see Scott wearing if we get to the 25?
If we break 25,
That's right.
it gets smaller.
Yeah. So
And I am
please.
not ashamed. I have no shame whatsoever. Ace is praying for us to break that number.
I
people.
actually am.
And we still have to give away everybody that does do a review, whether we break 25 or not, your name or your handle, if you will be put into a drawing for some swag.
Yes.
And we have new swag coming out. We'll tune in next week and we'll have that up
We'll
on the
talk a little bit
site,
more.
and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So thank you so much for joining us.
Other than that,
We'll talk to you
next week.